Salutations. Just Cruising, episode 17. Dr. Love, Kevin Akess. It's a good day today. See, I actually got it right today. 17.
I was watching the last episode and I was laughing my ass off. That shit was funny.
That's alright. I had to vent a bit.
Good episode.
Yeah, so today's discussion should be about
I like the fact you're factoring that it might go
left, it might go right, it might go Grease the musical. You know, you never know where it's going with this. You know, we'll be together like all that nonsense. So today's discussion should be about logic versus emotion. Logic versus emotion. That's a hard one to actually discuss. First off, what is logic? What does the human
I was
human
about to
mind,
ask you that question.
The human mind, what does the human mind see as logic? And what does the human mind see as emotion? Because obviously when I say logic, everyone wants to point towards the brain. When I say emotion, everyone wants to point towards the heart. Right? Because a logical, from the common sense, a logical term would be a non-emotive decision, a non-emotive choice.
Okay.
An emotional term from a common sense would be a non-logical decision or non-logical choice. So it's a thing, whereas on paper, black and white, it's literally logic versus emotion. Would you want to add to that, or you think that's a problem or anything? What do you think about that?
It's real interesting because I see so little logic nowadays. I find when people communicate, this I feel like thing is just completely out of control. I was listening to something yesterday who used it like 100 times in one of their YouTube videos, and they had interesting stuff to say, but it was like starting to grate. Like each time they said it, I was like, oh my god.
Is that not because you've actually started to notice it? Or
It's definitely because I'm noticing it more. Absolutely, it's been there for a minute. However, I just find a lot of times in conversations, it's full of assumptions. It's full of generalizations. There's all these cognitive distortions that are taking place.
Also, it robs you of accountability.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it. And so what I would say is, I'm no expert on logic. So in terms of definition, I would think of it in terms of the rational mind. Actually, I would think of it in terms of that which is based on reason and fact. As opposed to, well, this is a feeling I have, or this is an assumption, or this is a presumption, or a conception, or a conclusion based on my previous experience.
Okay. Let me interject a little bit.
Go for it.
You said I feel like, right? The time I feel like. Dig this. Let me give you why I said it robs you of accountability. If I say the sky is blue, that's a definitive sentence. I've said the sky is blue, which is
Absolutely.
I have chosen the path. The sky is blue. That's my choice. That's my say. That's my decision.
Yeah, you have to stand on it.
I stand on it. Accountable, responsible for that. If I say I feel like the sky is blue, same sentence. I've now said I feel like the sky is blue. It robs me of accountability and responsibility.
100%.
Which is what? You say no, the sky is green. I can always change my mind. So I have an issue with actually standing on my own morals and standing my ground. So I can always change my path based on what's the word to use? The strongest person in the pack. or the leader of the
yeah,
pack.
and also no one can question what you feel like, can they? That's your subjective experience.
I think we should question what they feel like.
You're wrong. But I
No.
feel like no, your feeling is wrong.
Feelings don't give a damn about reality. Right. So, but that's again, I feel like it's an emotional response, an emotional thing. It's a non-definitive, and I say this to most people is that the world was not built on I feel like. The car I'm driving was not created on I feel like.
Success is not built on I feel like, because you know what, you don't feel like it most of the time.
I don't feel like it most of the time. This is what it is, though. So, oh, thank you. Okay, emotions and logic, right? Logic tells us we need to go to work, to go and make that money, to go and do better, learn and be better.
You
just
haven't
do
defined
better.
logic though. Sorry to interject.
That's fine.
Okay.
It itself has no definition. That's what's crazy. So as much as I can give it 10 different ways, it has no solid definition. Logic is literally just making decisions without emotions.
Okay.
This is why I said logic versus emotion. Most things that are logical lack emotion to it. Does not mean there's no morality about it. It's just the smartest decision to make in this situation is this. That's logic. The wisest path to take would be this. Now, here's what's interesting. If the wisest or smartest decision in this scenario would be to go this way, what would happen is the emotion comes in. The emotion will always be against the logic. The emotion will always be, okay, example. I'll give you an example. Say we are in a post-apocalyptic zombie-filled world, right? And we are holed up in this place, in this spot, and the zombies out there. I love zombies. Beautiful. There's a Romero, I got you. The zombies out there, right? They have, obviously, due to evolution, they have a stronger sense of smell, hear, and sight. That means you should not make noise. Even if you hold up a nice place, everyone should shh. Emotionally, one person is going to be shouting, oh, I don't like the way you don't like my food, complain about something, when logically you should shut the fuck up. There's zombies outside. Right? So you're shouting about how your food is being cooked, and then you get bit. Now, in this group of say 20 of us, you get bit, not you. So person C gets bit, right? The virus is being transferred by blood, or by spit, or by a bite. The emotional thing would be, oh, person C got bit, let's hold them back together because, oh, they're part of our group and our team, so it will not be nice to let them go. I feel like they should be with us until they die and pass over, and then, sleep nicely, because hopefully the virus will go away just like it never happened. That's the emotional part. What's the logic about that? The logic part is simple as this. They're bitten, they're infected. I can chop the arm off now or kill you in 2 minutes. That's logic. You can cry later. What should one do?
I've got one for you.
No, wait, now finish this. So, the logic thing will
You should
basically...
be logical. This
there
is
you
what
go.
you should do.
Person C dies. Right? Person C dies, don't worry, we'll cry tomorrow, move on. Next time, don't go out and open doors for people because you thought they were dead, whatever. Boom, they die. But that's logic versus emotion. What's one for you? I want to hear it, please. Shoot.
Okay. So I'm reading a book at the moment called The Good Psychopath's Guide to Success. Amazing book. And they gave one really interesting story about a study. And so some army generals decided to go to Wall Street and speak to some of these strategists, because they're some of the greatest decision makers. They're used to working under really high pressure, and see if they could learn anything from them, right? So they go to Wall Street, and what happens is they come up with these scenarios, which are war scenarios, but they just turn it into data.
Yes.
So it's just like statistical facts, and they go, okay, we'll have the generals in this room, we'll give them scenario, then we'll have the stockbrokers, in another room, give them a scenario, and just see what decisions they come to based on the data that they're given, right? Which side do you think was more successful?
Generals.
Interesting. It was actually the stockbrokers.
No.
And do you know why?
Why?
Exactly the point you're making. Man, the timing of all of this is amazing how it all fits together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading this book. Because the generals are actually used to being in war,
Yes.
they know what it's like when they make a decision in terms of like how many people could die, who it could affect, and blah blah blah. So they were letting that influence to a degree some of the risks they were willing to take. Whereas the stockbrokers just saw it as cold hard data, so they were all logic.
Oh,
Makes sense.
Skynet.
So in the end, they are actually more successful. And so even though the generals were worried about people dying and wanted to preserve lives, they actually cost more lives because their decisions were influenced by their actual experience.
Logical versus emotional.
Logic wins.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it makes it, to me, it also makes me think, wow, these people in certain positions, you can tell some of them are just really devoid of emotion, right? You can tell some of them really are operating on just cold, calculated logic, and yet it works. Another one quickly I'll drop in is that the top surgeons are the same. Like the highest level surgeons, completely like just devoid of emotion, because if they're not, they can't do that job. They have to go in there.
Yes.
Just cold.
Yes. You have to in order to be as successful as you need to be, you have to be devoid of the human emotion. You have to be devoid of seeing everyone as a person. To some extent, yes, as a number. That's just the next slap. It's unfortunate, but that's the thing about logic and emotion. Now, here's what's interesting about that is it's a chessboard, or it's how it is. Just because it's not for everyone, that's a reality. It's not. It's not for everyone. It's for those. It's for those who are rising up to the highest echelon of life. So if your mission or if your task is responsibility for 1 million people, right? And you have 100 people who are dissidents, and you've sat down and you have your think tank and you've broken down the whole thing and realized that these 100 people are going to cost me the lives of 250,000 of my people. Stockbroker, what would you do? That's logic. The logic thing is the logical thing is to get rid of those 100. That's the logical thing to do, and that's the non-emotional. Because once you start to go, no, but people are people too, but blah blah blah, you're being emotional. You're not fit to lead. That's what's crazy. If you're leading 5, it's the truth. If you're leading 5 or 10, it's fine to be emotional and logical. It's fine. But when the numbers start to increase, when the responsibility starts to increase, you need to now start to keep that emotion in check. Don't let it go away. Just put it in the back pocket. Say, okay, I'll see you on Thursday. Simple as that. Just keep it small. But then you've got to start pushing everything else up.
Can I ask you something on that? Because I agree with what you're saying. However, what's your thoughts on dialing that up and down? Because we've come up in a time where people are more and more emotional and less objective, much more subjective in their thinking and perspective, and it's all about, oh, this offended me, or I'm comfortable with this, I'm uncomfortable with this, I'm triggered by this, I'm triggered by that. I see people, for example, post stuff with trigger warnings all the time now. Trigger warning, this might trigger it, and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Cowards.
It's crazy how emotional everyone is. What's your thoughts on maybe developing that ability to be logical?
I got you. First off, people are not more emotional now. They're actually less emotional now. I'll break down for you. people are not more emotional, they're actually less emotional now. And you have a lot more cowards out there in the world today. So that's why everyone goes, oh, trigger warning, because I might lose 5 followers. Whatever. Trigger warning. People might not like what I say today. That's what happens. Because again, we had this talk many podcasts ago about the whole every other person's main aim now is to be famous. Not to be truthful or honest, to be famous. Right. I'll give an example. A person who is hardly angry, when they get angry, they don't know how to control their anger. A person who is always angry is always in control of their anger. I'm always angry. It's life. Get used to it. I love it. I actually enjoy it. Like, I'm on a constant. That's my party trick. I'm always angry.
The crazy thing is, talking to you makes me feel more and more sane.
Psychopath, eh? This guy.
Because I have got a level of, like, it's just fire, like.
It's a good thing.
And I carry it and I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm in control of it. Now and again a bit comes out, but
it makes you zen. If you're always in a certain, this is the honest fact. So if I am always angry, when you push the button, I know how to react to it or respond to it. So I'm ready to react and respond to it. If I'm always emotional, in a sense of, I'm always loving, I'm always giving, I'm always very hearty, I know how to control it. So I don't get infatuated like that. Because infatuation itself is that high spike. So a lot of people today don't know how, they're not used to being in that emotional level. So when it comes, it spikes. Okay. So they have that massive spike, like, oh, I love this, love that, love this. No, man, you're just infatuated. It goes away in 2 weeks. It goes away in a month. It's going to go away.
And so you're saying because you're already angry, it's not a big spike for you. If something comes along that creates a reaction.
Just like that. If you're always in an emotional state, it's going to kill you or you're going to conquer it. And that's where we are. We've conquered it. It comes up every once in a while, but once it comes up, you know how to handle it. It's the ones who don't get angry. When they get angry once, they freak them up because they're not used to being in that state. They don't know how to handle that state. They let their emotions control them instead of them control their emotions.
It's an interesting take. So when you say people are not more emotional, they're less emotional, what do you mean? And you mean compared to how they were before?
Yes.
So you believe people were more emotional before?
The world yesterday was a lot more horrible. It was very harsh. It was a lot more harsh. And there were emotions all the time, but they were not expressing it as much as you would see it. They would express it in between closed doors, behind closed doors, in between the sheets. They would express it, but they would not express it on a public level. Today, people are looking for someone to say, hey, I like you too. They're looking for that
validation, acceptance.
They're looking for that external acceptance from the wrong places. So they are so easy to tell you their personal private business. They run around and go, oh, look, I did this. This is happening to me. Oh, please listen to me. See what I'm doing, everything. They are constantly looking for your validation. When in the first place, they are the ones that need to validate themselves.
Yes.
So it doesn't make them more or less emotional. It just means spend more time with people around you that actually care about you without your phone. That's what it means. That's exactly how it is. So today we have our phones and everyone is doing this all the time. This is why, like, you know me, if you are on your phone all the time, we're not gonna hang out together. I don't care. If you're gonna be married to your phone, I have this thing called what's it called again? Self-respect. Yeah, said it.
Oh, that thing.
That thing. It's called self-respect. I respect myself enough to go like, if I look at you, I'll say to you once, like, if we're together, less phones, more us, please. It's a thing. And if you go the whole, oh no, what's that thing called again? Man being bad.
Man being bad.
Yeah, man. Men are bad, women are good situation. The whole complaint about how patriarchy. Oh,
Okay.
the patriarchy, men evils are like, okay, it's not for you. Somebody else. As simple as that. You form more bonds, more real bonds when you are with the person in front of you and there's no phone around you.
It's different.
You learn how to be more logical.
So
You learn how to communicate with people a lot more. You learn how to bond more with people, and then you realize that the real life happenings happen without the phones. It happens offline.
Yes, 100%.
Issue now is that a lot of the younger generation have been so programmed to be on their phones that the phones are their life. The phones are the reality.
And they think it's better as well.
And
like, they think it's more advanced. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time I had a notepad on me, and someone actually tried to like mock it, like, oh, like it was some caveman shit. But the reality is, you concentrate way better.
Yes.
I'm noticing the difference between listening to an audiobook, reading a Kindle book, and having a physical book where you take notes and highlights. It's a huge difference. It's the same with writing. When I write, it just feels real on a completely different level compared to if I'm typing.
Your brain actually functions better than this, because your brain can actually think. You can actually you can actually focus on something and remember something.
It's completely different.
The issue with today's technology is that it's affecting the human brain to the point of where the human brain is now becoming like a goldfish.
Yeah, attention span. But I'll give you an example.
Memory is gone.
I was talking to a kid at work. Well, he was talking to me, and his energy, it was that kind of ADHD sort of jumping from this thing to that thing, and he was trying to crack this joke, and he was trying to crack that joke, and he was just doing too much
At the same time.
At the same time, and it was just a complete mess. And then he said something, and then when I replied, as soon as I replied, his brain switched off, because he's not there to listen or be present.
Right.
He's just expressing what he feels.
So how would you handle that?
And then he took his phone out and started looking at his phone.
Oh yeah, that one. I know that one.
I stopped talking. Anytime someone starts talking, like looks at their phone, I'm talking to you. I'm not trying to get like 10% of your attention.
Right.
I just stop talking.
Would you like to help him?
I'm considering it. Go ahead.
Right. Here's my suggestion. My suggestion would be not to tell him what to do, but tell him what to do.
Ask him some questions.
Yes.
I've been using that, by the way.
I know, it's so good. It's so
powerful.
easy.
It's powerful.
Because
then they gotta own the answers.
Exactly.
That's the beautiful thing.
Because if you're talking and I'm talking, what happens is we get drawn into this whole combat. Because you need to hear what I have to say. I've got to hear what you have to say. Vice versa was like, no, hear me first. So then, ego, super ego, and id. These things click in. So you need to hear what I have to say, and vice versa. And then I go, hold on. We're actually saying, yeah, as long as we're on the same topic, we're saying the same thing. So the only thing I would do to say is just go focus. It's literally that. So if he's talking, I actually stop and go, okay, what do you mean by that? I said, okay, sorry, I don't get it. I'm not trying to be offensive. I know I understand you're getting somewhere with this, but I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean by da 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 da? So I take like the last 3 words in the sentence and I go, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? Because A, that shows I'm actually listening to him. And B, I'm actually giving him the attention he wants. C, I'm not arguing. Then what happens is you at 8 out of 10 times you realize where they are, that there's a likelihood that they want to argue for argument's sake. So you're not arguing anymore, just asking questions. As you're asking questions, it's gonna fall down the line, and then they're gonna say, "Oh, boy, you're arguing about this." And then you correct yourself. I'm not arguing. I'm asking you questions. You're arguing with yourself. You're arguing with you. I'm here to learn. I actually want to hear what you have to say. So I'm asking you questions. I'm listening to you. You're arguing with you. Later or sooner, it will click to them that you're actually just listening to them, and they're just doing this. And then it gets to some point they realize that, oh no,
I'm just talking in circles.
I'm just talking in circles because I'm not making sense. And then you tell them you're not making sense because I'm trying to understand what you mean by this. What does that mean?
It's beautiful.
Boom.
It's beautiful. Holding up the mirror.
There you go. That's it.
I do it sometimes because sometimes people communicate in a vague way. For example, so I've got this weekly group now where me and some guys get together, we do some training, and then we have like a mastermind session where we discuss what we're working on, actions, bit of accountability, so on and so forth. First session, and this was back when it was like 2 of us. The night before, a guy contacted me, asked me to train. I said, yeah, I can train. I gave him a time, gave him a location, and he said, yeah, that should be fine. I messaged him. I said, what does "should be" mean? because
Sound like me.
I haven't got time for "should
maybe,
be."
Could be.
Like, I'm gonna arrive and hope that your "should be" means you're gonna be there. And he actually brought it up when we met. He said, yeah, he goes, I appreciate you doing that. It put me on the spot, but it made me realize I need to be clearer when I'm communicating. And I find that I have less and less tolerance for that kind of woolly, vague thinking. Oh yeah, that should be fine, or that, what does that mean? That means nothing. Again, it's not taking responsibility.
Yes.
It's the same thing as I feel like, right?
Yes.
Because now, well, he said he might be there at 12.
Could be.
Could be, should be. So if he's not, what can you say?
Exactly. Speak definites. You do or you don't. You do or you don't. And it's a thing that I try to explain to a lot of men, a lot of young men, a lot of men, is that say what you want to say in a definite sense or say nothing at all.
No one's taught us this.
It's actually okay not to talk all the time. You can actually keep that silence. Enjoy the silence. Enjoy the silence.
It creates so much tension sometimes though, like, because I'm the sort of person I don't do small talk. If I'm working the bar, there are certain times where with a particular guest or customer I might say, how's your day going, blah blah. But there's a very intentional thing behind me doing that.
Yes.
I'm putting them at ease and letting them know that they're seen. I'm giving a level of service.
Yes.
But in my own life, I don't do small talk.
I like it.
And so, because I just feel fake and it feels meaningless. I feel like I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting yours. And it's a meaningless conversation. And sometimes it creates this tension where it's like this uncomfortable silence. It's not that uncomfortable for me because I'm kind of used to them, but I see people sometimes really, you can see they're not used to silence.
You know what I realized though?
Tell me.
Unnecessary small talk creates unnecessary arguments.
Sometimes it does.
Because you realize we're arguing about nothing.
Oh, I just leave the area usually when those things happen. People start getting into some big debate about nothing.
And you're like, what?
I just start edging my way
And you go, what? And you
out
go,
of the shot.
And you go, what? Superman versus Goku? I'm an adult, man. What's wrong with you? You understand?
Yes.
And you go like, what? Huh?
Just talking for talking's sake. I also think that there's an element of, if people are present, they have to really feel what they're feeling.
Ah.
Right? They have to really feel what they're feeling. They have
That's
to really
the emotion of the logic.
They have to see their thoughts. They have to deal with themselves, you know?
Thank you.
But if we're just getting blah, 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 it's almost like you don't have to deal with it. It's the same thing, like there's a quotation about how most of the world's problems are a result of man not being able to just sit still on his own in a quiet room by himself. There has to be some activity, distraction, something.
I need to move. No, slow. You don't need to move. You want to move. Slow down. slow down. You're so right. A lot of people have this now urgency. Bear in mind, I have my moments, I have my weeks of urgency now. That is based on a responsibility situation and scenario.
Yeah, that's with the purpose. Yeah.
It has purpose. If it's a me thing, I'm a minimalist. I'm cool, relax, no rush. I slow down, meditate, concentrate, slow my heart rate down, feel my body, my whole atom. If it's a me thing. When it's a we thing, heavy is the crown. I don't have time to do that. So difference. So I make that time for me, but half the time it's a we thing. So one has to understand the balance of the emotion and the logic, which I try. Key again. I don't like the word try. I try my hardest though, and I do, because the whole thing here that goes, you don't try, you do.
I was going to say that when you mentioned it before. You
Absolutely.
said we don't try. Do or do not. There is no try.
There is no try. Grind. Grind is real. On the grind. Every day we hustle. Every day we see our dreams. The grind is real. And this is the thing about emotion as well. Some days you don't feel like going to work. Some days you don't feel like getting out of bed. That's an emotional thing. The logical thing is to get up and go. That's all. That's logic. Get up and go. Shut up. Go. That's it. That's it.
That's pretty much how I'm talking to myself sometimes, man.
It's literally that. It's the Samurai Jack scenario where I've got Samuel Jackson in my ear going, "Shut up, fool! Go!" Boom. I go. Simple as. There's no room for the emotion of it, the feeling of it. Oh, I feel like my ankles hurt.
Oh, bro.
Go.
I was running this morning and it was like I was getting ready and I could feel I didn't want to go out, and so my mind was trying to long it out and be like, oh yeah, just do this. Let's shut up, man. Let's just go deal with this shit. We went out and I could feel my knees for the first like half a mile.
Yeah.
And then, maybe you should walk instead, you know. I was like, shut up, man.
I counter that by actually doing.
Don't believe the lies.
Doing something at home first before I go out for a run. Same thing. Got up this morning.
I need to stretch more, man.
Got up this morning. Ankles were a bit funny. It's like ankle straps on. Got dressed. Got ready. Style jumps, burpees, squat jumps, everything. Boom, boom, boom. Run. Simple as that. No excuses, no apologies, no if, no but, no maybe, no shoulda, no coulda, no. I don't do that. I don't like to speak like that even in the first place. If anyone knows, like, no, don't speak like that. There's no room to be that emotional. I don't have that room. The time, the patience, the room. I don't have that. I have too many things that weigh down to keep that responsibility going. And that's one thing I was also going to talk about. I said most likely logic and emotion, but I was going to ask you one thing again. There's this conversation that happens all the time, right? About being a man. What makes a man? What makes a man a man? What makes you think you're a man? What makes me think I'm a man? What is it that we think is the rite of passage? What do you think it is that makes you a man? And that's a real question that every man has got to ask himself.
Jeez.
Because society wants to define that for you. Women want to define that for you. Everyone says to you, oh, you make your first million, you're a man. You buy your first car, you're a man. You get your first job, you're a man. You buy your house, you're a man.
Get married.
You get married, you're a man.
Kids.
You get a girl pregnant, you have kids, you're a man. You join the army, you're a man. You understand? But this is every other person's definition of manhood. But no one has actually sat men down, boys down, and said, okay, this is what makes you a man. And I'm saying this because the first million, the first car, the first house, the first child, the marriage, everything, it's easy to say I can drive when you're a backseat driver because you've never driven. But when you've done all of that, you're still the same boy. You join the military, that makes you man. You're still a boy in khakis. You buy your first car, makes you man. You're still a boy driving a car.
That's a great question.
You know, you get your first job, you're still a boy working. So what is it? What's our bar mitzvah? What is it that makes a boy a man? What's the path to manhood? What do you think it is? What would you say it is? What makes one a man?
That's such a good question. Are you asking me directly?
Absolutely. No, it's a deep question. So
Deep one, man.
it's something that you can take your time on. I got you.
It's I've never asked myself the question like that. However, over the years, I guess I have come to my own conclusions about what makes you a man. And there's a few factors I would say go into it for me. One is responsibility. The willingness to take responsibility for yourself, for your actions, for where you are, to not blame, to not play the victim, to not, do you know what I mean? Not, like, that's one of the things for me that separates children and adults,
But you know
men
what
and
though?
women.
That's it. That's the answer. That was it. The root to everything. Because like I keep saying, there's a tree, and every single problem is a leaf.
Okay.
We as people are looking at the branches. I look at the root. So it can be this, that, a thousand things. Good for you. But the root is where I go to, which is the one answer. That every of your answers connects to that answer. And the answer is responsibility.
You know, it's interesting because the next thing I was going to say does connect back to personal responsibility, actually.
Tree, bro. Tree of life. Roots.
Very interesting.
I don't do answers in branches. I do answers in roots.
I try and find the core as well because it's like the what's the way I'll describe it? I remember Will Smith once saying he was trying to find the equation of everything, like trying to find the root.
Yes.
And I think when you can find those root things, then they impact. Similar to the way exercise, for example, it's a keystone habit because it hits so many different things.
Yes.
Right? You're getting self-discipline.
Yes.
You're getting energy.
Yes.
You're getting a mood enhancer. You're getting all those positive chemicals, dopamine, endorphin, serotonin. Yes. You're getting more self-respect. You're getting more you're getting all of these different things. So it's like it's one of those core habits.
Core value. It's the root.
It's the root.
It's the seed. It's not the whole giant tree we're looking at, all the big problems. Find the root of everything. That's how you find the cure. When you've understood the root itself, you see the cure. This is why I like to go to the very, very top. And that's the answer. The answer from boyhood to manhood is responsibility. This is why in many cultures when they go, okay, we have, yes, exactly.
Because what just hit me is like, the greater a man you are, the more responsibility you're gonna have. Fuck.
You're welcome. Exactly. In many tribes, boyhood to manhood, they go, you do all this, and then they give this boy a responsibility. Say, here you go. You are now. So once you've killed your first deer, you are now responsible to feed the village. Once you've done your first whatever, you are now responsible to do this. So whether it's a job, whether it's a military, whatever it is, it's not just, I joined the army now, therefore that's it. No. You join the military, and now you are responsible to protect this area. That is what it is.
Wow.
Responsibility for something or someone.
Someone.
That is what it is. That's what makes you a man. It's mental.
Jeez.
But that's it. But people don't know this. So they try to teach you how to be a man based on how they feel is the answer. Based on how they feel is the answer.
Yeah. Logic versus emotion.
Versus emotion. It's that simple. It's that deep. And it all connects with each other. It's all interconnected.
And you know, something else I wanted to add onto this whole emotional thing.
Sure.
One of the things that strikes me is how much is just this is how I put it. Once emotion comes into the picture,
yes,
a lot of times a person will add meaning to something. So for example, if I don't train, and it's very rare this happens, but if I don't train for a few days, my mood starts to become off. And I've realized it's because that training is giving me certain chemicals, it's doing certain things, right?
Endorphins.
And endorphins, I'm getting dopamine, I'm getting serotonin, all those happy feeling chemicals. When I'm not training, I'm not getting that. So then my mood starts to drop, and I start to feel sluggish, and I start to feel, and then my mind will be like, something's wrong. I'll start to feel like something's wrong in my life, like there's some deeper thing. And I think oftentimes what people label as something an emotion or whatever, I think sometimes it's just like chemistry. It's just what's happening in the body at that moment. Because I can sometimes reverse that whole feeling with just, you know, a little bit of exercise or practicing a little gratitude, and then you're like, okay, how real was that thing, that moment, that transient feeling which I was assigning this meaning to, making it solid. And it just makes me think, well, how real is this stuff?
It's very, very real. So that's a feeling, that's an emotional thing, but I'm going to link it now with logic. Here's the logic of it. It's in balance.
These conversations are fire. You already know. Listening.
Balance. We humans, we are by nature combative. We are combative by nature, which is what? It's our nature to apply resistance to things. Whether it's to pull it, whether it's to push it, whether it's to hit it or get hit by it. It's our nature to apply pressure to things. Combat. We are by nature combative. So, in modern times, we have now found different avenues to express, thank you, sir, to express that level of combat. We do combat by actually pulling our body weights, pushing our body weights, by running, by hitting something, by allowing ourselves to be hit by something, by jumping on something, by jumping off something, by physically doing, because that is combat. And now the ones who are not physically combative, there is an urge inside them to release that combative nature, whether by argument, by typing, by disagreeing with someone, because that is resistance. You are now resisting someone else's ploy. If the person says blue, no, I choose red. Combative nature. It's why I said again to you, with the young man who's there arguing with you, just ask him questions. Because what happens is he's using that as his daily combat form. It's his daily expression. He doesn't see it.
It's interesting because we weren't arguing. I wouldn't say he's argumentative, but he's doing too much.
No, you weren't arguing. He was arguing with you. He thought he was winning. You weren't arguing. You're bigger than that.
I'm just watching him
There you go. But
Shit.
in his own eyes, you've given him what he wants. Attention. Sparring partner. It's sparring. It's verbal sparring. Because you can say to him, oh, blue. No. My blue is better than your blue. Because he hasn't got room to express his physical self. So he now gets the feeling that, oh, I need to express myself in a verbal manner. So if it's not physical, it's metaphysical. I'm typing it in the metaverse. Or it's verbal. I'm going to disagree for some or no reason. That's what it is. So when I get
see this play out every day.
every day. So when I get, example, on our videos, you won't see any comments. I get some comments that are very negative. I just delete it.
Interesting. I wondered how you would deal with that.
Oh, easy. So it's how I deal with trolls. I don't entertain them at all. If I see a negative comment on my video feed or anything, I just delete it.
What's the reason for that?
It's simple as this. It's SAS, it's Marines, it's hardcore training, it's every kind of special forces training. Don't engage. If you engage with someone, you're going to form a connection with that person. So I don't engage unless it's a physical altercation. When it's physical altercation, I'm going to engage. I apply pressure. I hit fast, hit first, hit often. But if it's not physical, it's not real. I just delete it. I don't even like it, unfollow it. No, just delete it. It never happened, never existed. Because if I respond to that person, reply to the person, I have now formed a mental connection with that person. Example, a lion and antelope. Lion, antelope, right? A lion or lioness does not have a conversation or a discussion with the antelope.
Wow.
They don't.
Wow.
Because if they started communicating, then there will be no hunter-hunted relationship. There will be an equal level relationship. That's what it is.
Jeez.
As simple as.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Snake and frog.
You need to talk to other lions.
There you go. You don't do that. It's bad for business. It's bad for you, and this is why we get upset. Because
I use that expression too.
It's true.
Bad for business.
Bad for business. So we get upset because we're upset that this little one is talking to me. Well, guess what? African proverb: when you play with a child, we play ball with a child for too long, the child will start saying to fetch the ball. Simple as that. When you play with a kid for so long, the kid starts sending you to go and buy the ball.
So true.
That's what it is.
So true.
As simple as.
Boundaries, man.
Boundaries. Know your level. Act your age. As simple as. So when I see a comment that is not positive or not forthright, just remove it. I'm never gonna go, oh, you shouldn't say that. No, just delete it.
Just out of interest, do you get much comments?
I do.
Interesting.
I do.
And would you say most of them are negative?
Yes.
From men or women?
I don't know. It's just trolls.
Okay.
Fake accounts. Someone will make an account and goes something, just write something racist or try to be offensive to elicit a response from you.
The thing is, once you know someone's trying to get that response out of you, it's just...
That's logic, though.
It is logic.
An emotional part of like, oh, I can't even imagine the emotional part of me. That's how crazy it is. I actually cannot imagine me emotionally going, oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Oh, man.
All lives matter. I can't actually play that character. Does that make sense?
I just disengage, and it's funny because I was a really argumentative child. I used to argue so much. I thought I was going to be like a lawyer or something.
and it got you nowhere.
And then I got older, and I just realized how futile it was to even win an argument. Like,
You've not won.
what do you win?
You've lost.
Half the time, you just made an enemy or pissed someone off in the process of proving how smart you are.
Lost a valuable connection to something else in the future.
Yeah, and I just realized how egotistical it was. And so now, whenever I'm having a conversation and I can see it going left like that, I just disengage now.
You see,
like, I'm trying to think if there's something that would be important enough for me to actually entertain an argument with someone.
Right.
I'm trying to think of something, and I really can't.
You know what I see? How I see is this, right? This is the logic to my sense of the whole situation. Is everybody plays a part in your life. Everyone plays a part in your life. So even if we cannot meet on eye-to-eye level or on logical level, so you're not making sense to me, I'm not going to engage in that way. If we're talking and you're not making sense to me, what I'll do is I will look for your good qualities.
That's smart.
Because what happens is we are so eager to want to win that argument. I'll go, no, okay, cool. You have good qualities that I don't have. So even in that conversation,
Interesting.
I want you to win. Because when you win, I see things that you may have that I don't have.
You're still finding a way to make it a productive, positive
there you go.
experience and
There
to
you
learn
go.
from it.
There's still something about you that
That's
you can
dope.
do that I cannot do.
It's dope.
You know, so everyone has worth, everyone has value, everyone counts, every life counts. Everyone has something that they can give to the big pot, because again, it's a chessboard. We're all playing different characters of life, and we all complement each other, but we are being taught that we challenge each other. No, we all complement each other. So no one's my enemy. We're not fighting. We're actually working together as a team to build a bridge, to make a stronger bridge. I can't do that myself. So everyone I engage with has a value, and guess what? Most people don't even recognize their value.
Very true.
Until I go, you can do this, right? And they go, oh, I can. Yes, you can. You just did it. Because that's what it is. Because people go, no, I can't do it, and because they've never done it before. But then when you say, but you just did it, and then they go, did I do that? Yes, you just did that. That's you. Accountability, responsibility, power, gift, XG. Boom. It's there. It's always been there, always be there. So everyone has something that I don't have. My new gym space.
Such a great perspective.
It is. My
Kudos.
new gym space. I didn't see it. Another guy saw it. As much as I have my eyes, I could not see it until someone else saw it. And then when he saw it, I saw it clearly. It was like, boom! I said, thank you. Because if I didn't have your eyes on this board, on this chessboard, we will not be here today. So everyone has value.
I fucking love that.
Everyone has
love
value.
That. Because I definitely have a side of me which can be very judgmental and just kind of write people off like, but you're right, everyone, and you don't even know what those depths could be, or skills or talents or whatever.
It's funny you say this. This is why I like screenwriting and I hate screenwriting. I love, this is why we had this talk months ago about X-Men.
Okay.
This is why one of my favorite of all time written characters is Scott Summers, Cyclops. Book-wise, one of the best written characters. Book-wise. But movie-wise, rubbish. Shit. Sugar honey iced tea. I said it. Shit. Yeah? Because he's written as a person who sees the best in every single person. Every other mutant has their own ability that complements the whole team.
Right.
So his job is to put the whole team and say, okay, Alpha Flight, you guys do this. 18, this, B team, this. Everybody complements everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they work, which means I can't do this job alone. I can do it a lot better with a team of 5. And everyone's ability complements everyone's ability. It's simple as. And it's crazy, but it's one of those things where it's like, these things apply in real life.
But when you translate it to the movie, they just made him what, like a nice guy?
Nah, bruv. It was just a jealous boyfriend.
Ugh.
Wolverine and Friends. Remember, I keep saying this.
Oh yeah.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
Wolverine and Friends. Like, let's write about Wolverine and then everyone has background characters. No, that's anyway. Bad writing. But yeah, I see everyone as useful. Everyone is useful, and also it's another measure of men, because men want to be useful to their society. Men want to be useful to their tribe.
Mm-hmm.
There are many a man who would go, okay, this is my tribe, these are my people, I will do whatever it is for you, boom,
Mm-hmm.
to make us grow. Because this is all about we, not me. This is a we thing, not a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it with chest, we do it with pride, with chest, responsibility. It's what men do. Men have to face up to that level of responsibility. So I know many men who will give their time, like you do as well. Give their time because of responsibility to others. This is what we do. And many people will never understand it, and it's not for you to understand it. That's your problem. If you don't get it, you don't get it. I will not be the one trying to convince you to get it. Boom. If people don't understand your mission, don't waste your time trying to teach them or tell them. No, let them see you do it.
Showing's better than telling, as Floyd says.
Exactly. Remember, it's Shark Monday. We just do our shark stuff. We don't go explain how white sharks be sharks. We just shark. Be the shark. Keep moving forward. So we do. You don't go and explain. No, if you don't get it, it's not for you.
One of the things that strikes me is how it really starts with you. Because at a certain point of just being responsible for yourself,
yes,
being self-disciplined and all the
yes,
rest of it,
yes,
it's like you lead yourself,
yes,
and then other people go, oh, Kez, can you show
yes,
me this, or can you show me
yes,
that, because I see you're really good at that, or
yes,
you're really disciplined with this, and so it happens organically.
Yeah. You cannot teach what you don't know. You cannot show where you've not gone before. You cannot. It's a learn, teach, inspire, grow thing all over again. Learn, teach, inspire, grow. How can you lead people when you cannot lead yourself? How can you set the pace when you can't set your own pace? It doesn't work that way. This is the thing. People want to see someone that inspires them. Not just someone that just sits down and just talks. Oh yeah, you want to do this. No. They want to see you actually doing it. You know, it makes sense for some people. Just write me a script. Cool. But some people want to see you actually do it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing it, it doesn't help.
I remember we had the conversation about leadership before, and you were talking about the difference between a boss and a leader. And how a boss, tells people what to do and gets the job done.
Yeah.
Whereas the leader has an actual interest in your growth.
Your growth. Yes.
I thought I still remember that as a great distinction. And it's so interesting when you see people in those positions of leadership, whether they fall into one or the other. And I find most of bosses,
bosses don't want you to grow.
Yeah, but a lot of times bosses are threatened by you growing.
That's why. They don't want you to grow because they fear that if you grow, you will take the position. That you'll be a better them than them. So they feel threatened because a lot of bosses hire people that are better than them. but those people don't know. You see my point? So the boss is high because it's a thing. It's like, oh yeah, hire this person because they're better at this task than you are. As a leader, you're like, yes, I embrace that. I want you to be better than me in that thing, so that I can come to you and go, teach me this. Because you need to be a specialist in that thing you do. I like it. You know, I'm an events person, I'm a blah person, but I have someone else who is good on the phone, who calls other people and go, okay, this is what we're offering, this. That's them. I'm delegating the best in that business to do that. I have someone that does this and that. So I have someone that's a multiple jiu-jitsu world champion. His own thing is to make sure my jiu-jitsu team is the best team on the map. That's his thing. That's not my thing. That's his thing. And I encourage him to get better. I have a guy, one of my guys, he's a wrestling practitioner. I'm trying to help him to get his license to be a wrestling coach. And he's really good at it. It is a lot better than me at wrestling, no question. And I want him to get his license to be a coach. And I'm actually helping him to do that as well. So it's a thing whereas I want everyone around me to be better. That's even if it's 1% better every day, so be it. Because by them getting better, I get better too.
Fire.
You know. But what do we know, right?
Just two dudes talking.
But that's
Some brilliant philosophy, man.
it's the emotional part of logic. So I find the balance in logic and emotion. So for the world, it's always logic versus emotion. I see it as logic and emotion.
So where does emotion come into it for you? Because you said before that you don't see yourself as an emotional person.
No, I'm more logical than emotional.
You're definitely more scientific than the sort of, right-brained, artistic, just spontaneous, blah, 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 sort of person. You're definitely much more measured and calculated.
It's crazy you say right brain, you know.
Where does emotion come into it for you?
Emotion comes into it after logic has been applied, but the receiver is not receiving it appropriately.
You got to cut someone out, basically.
Yes. So when the receiver
I'm with it.
has not received the information properly, the emotion comes in. So the emotion comes in with a tonality as well. So the logic is to add tonality to the emotion.
Yeah, so it cuts through.
There you go. So it cuts through, which creates an urgency, which creates a Pavlovian situation with the person, which is praise good behavior, punish bad behavior. So, example, I say to person A, I need this done by Wednesday. Can I get this done by Wednesday, please? It's important that I need it done by Wednesday. Wednesday comes, they've not done it. Now, bear in mind, I work on a situation where it's like, what needs to be done will be done today. So today being, let me say today is Monday, I've given them 2 days to get things done. Bear in mind, I understand they're not me. If it was me, I'll do it today. But they're in the opportunity to do it in a day.
Did they agree to get it done by this date?
Yes.
Ah.
So, but that's the thing. So we don't do maybe, we do yes. We don't do should, we do yes or no. It's a yes or no, because I go, can you get this done by Wednesday, please? Maybe I could. No. It is or it's not. Can you get this done on Wednesday? Yes or no? I will try, please. You're not listening to me. We don't try, we do. Can you get this done by Wednesday? Yes, I can. Thank you. I will check up on you on Wednesday for this. So on Wednesday, when I check up on them and it's not been done. Now, we've had this talk before. Then the tonality comes in. My tone rises a bit.
A little bit or a lot?
A little bit. I said, I gave you 2 days to get this done. You didn't do it. What happened? A question.
Accountability.
Accountability. Okay. I did my part. What happened to your part? Okay. Understand this. Is that a reason or an excuse? That's what I'm asking myself and them. Because excuses only sound good to those that are making it. Not to me. To you, it may sound like, oh, my cat ate my homework. It makes sense to you.
It's so funny because it's exactly that. Like, you see sometimes when people are making excuses, in their face, they're like...
They believe hey!
They believe like it's okay.
My cat ate my homework. Okay.
Right. They're looking at you like you're going to go, oh, okay, cool, that's fine.
And then I go, okay, I give you 1 more day. So, can you get it done by tomorrow, please? Thursday comes. And there's not happened. So, bear in mind, I'm giving you Wednesday. I'm giving you 3 days now. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, now Thursday, right? Come Thursday, it's not happened. I've been angry since Monday.
You've been angry for years.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been angry since Monday, but I didn't show it. Okay?
Oh, man.
There you go. I've been angry since Monday, but I didn't show it. So now that it's Thursday, I've understood that, okay, when I say it calmly, you're not listening. So I need to now apply a certain level of punishment to you. Now, rightfully so, I'm not going to break your ankles. Because it's just a bit harsh, mate.
Just a little.
Just a little harsh, So what do? I raise my voice and I shout at you. And I make you understand that's your fault. If you had got this done on Wednesday, I would not be shouting at you. Simple. That's not me, that's on you.
I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
You made me do this.
Exactly. I don't like being this person, but I embrace it. You mess up again, it will come out worse. It's simple. It's time wasting. Some people don't like the time being wasted. I don't. I know you don't.
Sometimes the thing is, I've come to the same conclusions. Like, sometimes it just doesn't get through to people because I guess they're used to fobbing people off and there being no consequences.
Then you find someone else. That's it. That's the magic of it. If a person, so if you've done the shouting and they've not got it,
then you move on.
Move on. You don't tell them, oh, I'm moving on. No, just move. There's no point in being, again, empty threats. Not it. If I've told you 1, 2, 3, and move on. You're not a child. If you're a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, I'll tell you 10 times. If you're a 4-year-old, I'll tell you 9 times. If you're a 5 or 6-year-old, I'll tell you 8 times. The older you get, the less times I need to tell you. When you are past your teenage years, I don't need to tell you 3 times. Understand that. When you are past your teenage years, I, honest to God, don't need to tell you the same thing 3 times. If anybody has got to tell you something 3 times in your adult stages, that's on you. There's something wrong with you. You can't focus. Or you don't prioritize. Your mind ain't right. It's crazy, isn't it? Not simple. It's the whole teaching process. With toddlers, with babies, you have to be a lot more patient. Because this is a new world. With adults, no. You do or you don't. You get or you don't. Because if they took it as priority, they would not be told twice. What more can I say? Simple as. Any questions?
Nothing comes to mind right now. it's just, I find it fascinating that so much of what I guess I've been taught is just nonsense. Well, virtually all of it. You know?
Yeah.
It's what I've taught myself, what I've learned from my own learning and reading has been so much more useful, and it just goes against all of that stuff. It just goes against all that stuff. Like if you're logical, you're winning. You know, you're going to be able to plan. You're going to be able to organize. You're going to be able to think. You're going to be able to, like, even now, like, I've started planning my weeks. Before I used to just, you know, write to do this some days. Then I started doing the night before. Now I'm doing the week. It's going to be the month and the year, and you know, I can see where it's going. But the difference it makes now already, because I can look at the week and go, okay, on this particular day I'm going to be busy. I'm going to have less time, less energy. This day I've got more space. Okay, so I can get more training done on this day, and I can get less of this done here, and I can do it, and I'm able to kind of, you know, prepare and tweak and plan and organize. And that way of thinking is just starting to spread into everything I do. I'm just starting to look at, even in my relationships, you know, just looking at things with more logic, and it just puts me in a much better position to navigate things, because I'm not just like going with the flow and let's see what happens. It's like, no, you're a man. You're a man with a plan now. So now it's like you're getting so much more from your time as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. You say go with the flow. Now I don't even know what that means, you know. Well, let's see what happens, mate. You're dumb. What's wrong with you? You're dumb.
Are you dumb?
What are you, 5? You're dumb.
But it's just, oh man,
It's crazy.
The world. I think the world is so feminized at this point.
You want to know the
So
cons of being logical?
Tell me.
So here's the con about being logical.
Yeah, let's have
Logic
that conversation.
makes you the villain.
But this is the thing. I'm starting to feel like a bit of a psycho, and like reading this book, it's just like, well, it works and it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Obviously, you need to blend it with a
Well,
level of,
Again,
you know.
the emotional see psychopathy as negative. Psychopathy is negative. It's repetitive function. It's dysfunctional function, but it's also pace setters and pathfinders and first timers.
And it's the degree of psychopathy
There
as well,
There
right?
you go. Now, what's interesting is you get more illogical than logical in this world today.
Yes.
So you have more people who are illogical than logical, which means what? There is power in numbers, which is the masses are asses. It doesn't make them right, but what they can do is they can win by election. They can outnumber you. That's the danger of the logical, is that your logic does not make sense, but they have the power of numbers to cancel you.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Oh, he hurt 10,000 people's feelings, therefore let's just cancel him.
But what he said was true.
But it's not what he said, it's how he said it.
What?
That's what it is.
But
It's
that's
not what he
literally
said.
what's happening.
It's how he said it, because the way he said it made my cat's feelings hurt. So yeah, my cat doesn't like the way he said it. So therefore, boom, it's illogical. It does not make sense. It's borderline stupid.
It's absolutely stupid, and
You know how I say it.
it's becoming the norm now. It's becoming the norm.
It has been the norm. It's accepted culture because it started with I feel like. Because no one challenged anyone saying I feel like. Why?
I'm gonna
Because
start
half
challenging people.
I do, you know I do. Because
start
half the
challenging.
people who are allowed to say I feel like keep going on because every other person wants to get in their pants. As simple as. If you see people going, oh, but I feel like, watch the audience. Watch the audience. The audience are eager to agree with them because there's safety in numbers. Because if they say the truth, they're gonna be kicked out of the tribe, and they're safer in the tribe. And that's what it is. When you are not afraid to forage for yourself, truth is the truth. Seneca says that no man is more hated than he who speaks the truth. So on your path to the truth, on your path to let the world know the truth, do not be surprised when the crowd begs Pontius Pilate for your crucifixion.
And how do you navigate that?
Logical, be more logical. You choose your crowd. You choose who you're going to share information with. You choose who you're going to talk with and talk to. You don't talk to everybody. Again, eagles, lions, all that stuff. Basically, it's like eagles and pigeons. They don't converse. What do they want to talk about? Simple as. Those who are prey flock together. Predators don't flock together. You're right, solo.
Solitude.
Yeah, it's good. It's good because solitude makes you stronger.
It does.
It does. Old song, 90s, Sting, all this time. The last lyrics in this song was...
All this time.
Yes, all this time, Sting. It's basically, I like the likes of Sting and Nas Barkley because the lyrics, it's all pop beats, but they have to do the pop beats to actually make money. But the lyrics are clever. All this time, Sting, the last lyrics were, men go crazy in congregations, they only get better one by one.
Jeez, that is bad.
The character Constantine in the comics and the series was created under the moniker of Sting.
Interesting. He's like the inspiration for the character.
He's the inspiration for it, yeah. Because Sting in the 80s and 90s went for the Police. 70s, Roxanne, Sting from the Police came out and he was very, very zen and mantra-ish, and everything he ever did was just cool. And he was also an atheist. He believed in God, but he didn't believe in the way Christians looked at God.
Okay.
So Sting was a whole different person. And so the character Constantine is English guy as well. English, everything Constantine is Sting. So he may come out like a brash person, but he's actually deeper than he actually was. Yeah. It's crazy.
Solitude.
It helps.
It's different because there's so many benefits that come from it. Like you said, you learn to be independent. You learn to, as you said, validate yourself because you're not constantly communicating with other people. You have time to think. You have time to plan. But it takes will and it takes strength. And I think that then when you come back into the world, you come back with that energy, with that focus.
Yes.
That inner calmness, all that stuff you build up on your own.
You need to go to your mountains, go to your cave, and go and learn the word and come back and teach people the word and let them admonish you and let them get mad at you and go, who do you think you are? It's like that. Shut up. What are you talking about? They know what you're talking about, but they just don't like the fact that you're the one that's saying it. So they want the message, but the problem with the message is that you don't look like the messenger they want. That's it. You're saying the same thing, but because you don't look like the messenger they're looking for, the message sucks. So again, comes that I don't like the way he's saying it. That's not what it is. You don't like what I look like. We're saying the message to you.
One more thing I want to share.
Sure.
Struck me recently. I was just reflecting on growth. I don't know if I said this. I can't remember if I said this last week. Sometimes I'll be having conversations with myself and I can't remember if I've had them in real life. But I was reflecting on the idea that life is pain, and I thought, growth is not comfortable. It's uncomfortable. There's a pain that comes with growth, and so real life is really about growth. It's growth or decay, right? You're growing or you're dying. You're going that way or that way. So if you are living a life of growth, that means you're consistently putting yourself in uncomfortable spaces.
Yes.
That means life is pain.
Yes.
And yet that's where all the the gold is. That's where all the magic is. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? That's where the growth is. That's where the learning is. That's where the strength of your character comes through. So ultimately, that's what it is. Life is pain, and the modern world's been created to sort of cocoon us from that, to make everything as easy as possible,
Yes.
make you as comfortable as possible. You
Yes.
know, don't get uncomfortable. I remember hearing something about, it might have been in the Good Psychopath guide as well, where it's talking about how when the body's too warm, it's like it weakens you.
Yes.
When you have to deal with a certain amount of discomfort. And I've noticed myself now, because I don't always sleep in the bed, like I sleep on the sofa sometimes. I've noticed that if I get up in my bed, it's got this amazing mattress on it. It's almost like it's harder to get up, and I feel like a bit more like, oh, this is comfortable. Whereas if I sleep less comfortably,
You sleep better.
I sleep better, and I get up and I'm like, let's go hit it. So it's like it's almost counterintuitive to me on a certain level, but it's embracing that pain and that discomfort as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
which I think life's really about.
Life is about pain. Pain is constant. The more pain you feel, the more alive you are. The less pain you feel, the less alive you are. Is why I'm gonna go into some kind of deeper level now.
Oh, this is a whole
Nah,
conversation in
this,
itself, isn't it?
this is gonna scare you now.
Go on.
Is why when demons possess human bodies, they constantly put themselves in pain to tether their bodies to that their being to that body. Because the more pain the body is in, the more alive the body is. When the body dies, then they can no longer possess the body. They have to now leave the body.
So they'll torment that person and put them
Yes,
through the
physical pain.
madness, because they feed off of the energy of that
So you
pain.
get someone that's possessed, and then they will like chain here to here to here to here, because they need the constant shock to keep the body alive.
Because they feed off of that energy.
No, because it keeps the body alive. So if the body dies, they can no longer stay in the body. Because pain, humans don't know this.
Pain keeps the body
Pain
alive.
is the one thing that keeps our bodies alive. So our bodies go through pain, either small or big ways. We don't realize it. When you stop feeling pain, you're close to death. So anyone that gets shot, they feel the pain, they feel everything.
Then they go numb.
When they start going numb and they no longer feel the pain, they're close to gone.
The thing that triggers for me immediately is how, again, like modern life is just numbing people.
Yes.
Completely numbing them, like
Yes.
through technology,
Yes.
through drugs.
Yep.
Whether that's legal pharmaceutical drugs, it's like, oh, you've got this feeling, take Ritalin, take antidepressants, take this, take
Get
that,
more
take
comfortable.
that, take that, get more comfortable.
You need to be uncomfortable. You need to be uncomfortable. You need to have a certain level of constant discomfort, because discomfort is also growth.
That's what I'm saying.
Your body is in constant change. Who you were when you were 5 years and 10 years old, your body's going through discomfort to grow. Your bones go through discomfort to grow, or pain. No one realizes this. Small pain is discomfort. Everything about you is going through discomfort to grow. Your cells die and rejuvenate every so often. That's pain. It's le petit mort. It's the little death.
It's like this. It's like, oh, and I just see it with everything. Like in let's say we take a job, business, or whatever, right? You're going from this level to that level. So now you got the pain of that growth.
Yes.
If you stay at that level, you might think you're avoiding pain, but actually there's a pain that comes with not growing. Right?
Yes.
So like it's a catch-22. It's like either you got to deal with the pain of not progressing and regressing, which might be sort of low level, but that's even more constant. Or you got to deal with the sharper thing of like, okay, I'm putting myself in the deep end again, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I got to work this out, which initially is like, ugh, but at least there's some kind of satisfaction that comes with that, right? That comes with that growth. But it's just like you constantly again into the arena,
Of course.
over and over and over, or you try and avoid it all, and then you get that numbing kind of death pain you're talking about. So it's like whichever way you look at it, it's pain.
Right. So if you're trying to express this to a person, but in like a bullet point or less in a shorter way, how would you say it? How would you do it?
I would say life is growth. Growth is pain. Therefore, life is pain.
Okay.
How would you say it?
So if they went from level 1 to level 2, I'll go and they go, oh, but if I get promoted, then it's gonna be harder, blah blah blah. And I go, okay, level 1 is hard. Level 2 is hard. You decide. Either way you choose.
You choose your hard, innit? Like which one?
There you go. You decide. Choose your hard. It's still gonna be hard.
Because it's like
You can stay there and suffer the comfort of the hard you've been, but you're comfortable with that hard, or find a new hard and it's now a better story. It's like me reading a book and I'm on chapter 2, and the more I read, I'll just stay on chapter 2. There's chapter 3. Move on. Next level. The unknown. Go.
But it's always gonna be hard on some level. Like whatever you choose, rich, poor, successful, unsuccessful, happy, unhappy. Like it's all the same. And I think embracing that's liberating.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It is what it is. We do it for you. Not for me, it's for you. Simple. This has been episode 17. It has been lovely, nice, and emotional. Thank you, sir.
And logical too.
And logical. Anyways, see you all next time. Peace.